Welcome to Nerdarchy, for nerds by nerds. I'm Nerdarchist Ted, and today I'm joined by...
Nerdarchy's Dave.
And today we continue our recovery dice series, this time with the Sorcerer. Jump down the description below where you can sign up for Nerdarchy, the newsletter, get weekly gaming tips, as well as learn how to game with Nerdarchy.
Alright, Sorcerer, unleashing our Sorcerer's might. So we're doing our recovery series, our recovery dice series once again. And Sorcerer falls into that really nice, happy place of, I got two archetypes, and I've, which allows us to go, okay, let's do three of them. We could do one for each archetype, and then like a generic one.
Right, so this gives us, more options as opposed to when we're forced to either completely ignore the archetypes, or because there's too many, or because there's three, do we have to push it and make a fourth? So, nice solid 3 option here.
Right. So, I guess let's start with like the basis of a sorcerer, and we can kind of work out from there. And one is obviously they're an arcane spellcaster, but then the other hallmark of the sorcerer is going to be meta magics and sorcery points.
Right. So, that innate casting that kind of goes along with that makes it very iconic. I don't need to carry a book, and I don't need to, worry about that whole studious thing. I am magic.
I live, breathe, and am magic. Absolutely, such power.
And then if we look at the archetypes that are in the player's handbook, we have the Draconic Sorcerer and we have the Chaos Sorcerer.
Right, and both of them are very much about embodying a certain element per se. Like for instance, like you embody being draconic heritage and the element that kind of is infused in you from that dragon type, as well as you kind of have like a draconic presence and you're recognized by Dragon Kit.
And then the Chaos Sorcerer, you are just so infused with the chaos energies that you literally have the ability to manipulate the world around you.
For better or worse.
For better or for worse.
So, so those are the things that are going on. So we came up with 3 powers, or three powers in 3 different ways to use your recovery dice.
Our first one we're going to label as more power. And I think having the meta magic is awesome, but there's times that you just want to use more.
Right, and literally all of them except for one meta magic feat have the stipulation that you can only use, one at a time.
Right. So what if we just say, you know what? So what if it's going to cost me extra sorcery points? I want to pour it all in now and use 2 of them.
Right. Sometimes you just need to get the money shot out, and you're just going to do it all at once. You're going to use 2 meta magics. You're going to spend double the points, but now you're also going to spend you're going to actually fuel that with your own life essence as you expend your hit dice in order to do it.
Exactly. So that's more power. You can use 2 of them at once. You still have to spend that resource of the hit dice and the extra sorcery points. But man, that spell is going to be awesome.
Yeah, if you want to quicken and twin a spell at the same time, go for it. And I'm really happy with this one because it's useful. It expands upon something that's uniquely sorcerer. No matter whether you go with the Draconic or the Chaos or even going out of the player's handbook, this would be super useful no matter what. You gotta wait a little bit. You have to wait till 3rd level, but then, any sorcerer can tap into this. It's gonna be super functional, super useful, and I like it. I think we came up with something good for this one.
So this is one where the generic has to wait till 3rd, and the
specifics.
The specifics is actually going to be useful earlier. Now, with all of the recovery dice, you're using a number of dice equal to your proficiency modifier. So you do always have to wait till 2nd level to get into these things. But the archetypes, you get at 1st level. So you're going to get to use their powers before you're using the class specific, which is
before you can amplify them, yes.
So for Draconic, I think a big staple is, looking at their 1st level ability of having that better armor class with, 13 plus their dex mod to represent their scales. So we've got armor up. You can literally fuel your scales with your own power. So your armor is going to get doubled. So your armor class can get calculated by 16 plus your dex modifier for a combat.
Yeah, now this one's going to be super useful early on. Later on, maybe not so much. And also, you know, maybe when we like play test this and finalize this one might get tweaked a little bit. Like, you know, maybe at higher levels, you know, the armor class goes up a little bit more or something like that.
Could change it to, you know, add your proficiency modifier to your armor class. So
Instead,
that would scale it. But playtesting.
Playtesting. But other than that, you know, it's a quick thing. It's like, oh, you know, I need to be tankier, or, you know, I'm surrounded by enemies and I don't have this spell selection that lets me get away, and I don't want them punching me in the face. So
hit points are, you know, hit dice are useless to me if I can't get to a short rest. So
pretty much. So then we move into Chaos Sorcerer, and you know, the hallmark feature of the Chaos Sorcerer is Tides of Chaos. It's a great ability, but it has some shortcomings.
Well, I think the biggest shortcoming, and I've seen this, you know, all over the internet, is DMs don't want their sorcerers using the ability, so they don't ever reset it.
Yeah, well, that can definitely be problematic. So the way it works is you can have advantage on a roll that you make, but the next time you cast a spell at first level or higher, your DM can force you to roll on the Wild Magic Surge table. And if he never makes you roll, it doesn't reset until after a long rest. So this ability, being as useful as it can be highly dependent upon the type of dungeon master you have and how they want to run their games. Now, in my games, I think it's a great ability. I think it's fun, and I want if I have a wild mage, if I have a chaos sorcerer, I want them rolling on that table as much as possible. And you know what? They want it to. If you pick this archetype, it is literally to roll on that table. That's all you really want to do. I'm fairly certain. You guys can argue with me in the comments if you like. So in my game, what I do is my brother Ryan is actually playing a sorcerer that's a wild mage. And I go, hey, I don't want to have to remember this and think about this. The next time you cast a spell, just roll on the wild search table if you use your character.
Every time he uses Tides of Chaos, it's like, all right, next spell you cast, roll it.
Well, and it does a couple things, right? One, you know, they get to do the fun thing that they kind of picked the class to do to begin with. Two, they get to use the cool ability, Tides of Chaos, more often, right? And then eventually he's going to get to a higher level where he gets to roll twice and take his pick. I'm not going to change the way I've been doing it just because he might get better rolls now. No, I'm going to like, that's cool. I want my player to have fun with that, so I'm going to keep throwing that in there and let him keep building on it.
As a side note, I love the Wild Magic table. I actually ran a fan game where anytime someone rolled high or low, I was rolling on that chart. So all kinds of craziness was happening, and everybody at the table loved it. So it's good stuff. I got no problems allowing people to reset their stuff just by rolling on the table.
But, you know, we acknowledge not all DMs run their games the same. They don't all agree with us. Maybe they think Tides of Chaos is just too strong. So what we came up with is a touch of chaos. And that is, you can expend this resource to reset your Tides of Chaos.
So even if your DM has not allowed you, you know, has not forced you to roll on a table when you cast a spell, you can reset it. So technically, you can get advantage, not cast a spell. If your DM normally does that, use your resource and bam, you can do it twice before you even cast a spell.
Right, so it would give you different ways to play with it. One is, oh, my DM's never going to reset this, so I can just use it again. Or you get a twofer, you know, you get to reset it and use the advantage again before you cast that spell. I think it'll add it adds an interesting twist to the Wild Mage, gives them a little more oomph, and I think it'll add some fun to the table.
I think so as well.
So the question is, what do you guys think? Would you allow this in your game? Are you doing something similar to this in your game? We got a place for that. It's called the comments. While you're down there, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe.
Check us out over on Facebook.
So until next time,
stay nerdy.